And joining us right now to talk more about primary day is Associate Professor of Political Science and National Security, University of New Haven's Professor Chris Haynes. Now, we were just live with Ashley in New Haven, so let's start with New Haven. What do you think about how the race is shaping up there?
You know, it's a very interesting race here. You have, a longtime incumbent Mayor Tony Harp, who has really been a part of New Haven politics for a long time. Proven vote getter against, Justin Elliker, who, came within 10 points of unseating her last time. Yeah. Over the years, I think the sense of it is that she's just collected, more and more kind of baggage. The longer you stay in office, sometimes the more enemies you make. You add that on top of the FBI investigation that's taking place of her administration, and you have a race that I think could really come down to a few percentage points. She has the unions behind her, and I think that's a really important thing in her back pocket. But I think this could be a cliffhanger, and we'd have to wait, I think, till late tonight to call this race. Is my prediction. Right.
Now, I imagine in a very general sense, incumbents usually, it's not a bad thing to be an incumbent. Up in Hartford, though, you got Luke Bronin facing off against a former mayor who has a cachet of his own. What do you make of that?
Incumbency in general is something that is just, usually a benefit, right? Most incumbents win election, especially as mayor and especially in the United States Congress as well. Yeah. And so you would think that, incumbent mayors like Tony Harp or Nancy Rossi or Luke Bronin would be kind of shoo-ins. But the interesting thing in the elections this year, more broadly, and you're talking about Hartford, is that you have a number of mayors that are being challenged by formidable challengers. In Hartford, the issue is that I think for Eddie Perez and Brandon McGee is the fact that there are two formidable challengers there. Splitting the opposition vote can often help the incumbent mayor. And so there's already an incumbency advantage there for Luke Bronin. You add on top of that the $1 million that he raised, and the fact that I think Hartford has tended to trend in the right direction over the past few years. I think it's going to be really tough for those challengers to really make a dent. Even though, as we know in Connecticut, we like a good comeback story. Yeah. And Eddie Perez might present that given his past conduct.
Now, because of all these factors, do you think the voter turnout will be higher this year?
Absolutely. I mean, you see turnout does increase when there's a competitive election. Yeah. That said, it is a municipal election year, a year that we do not have any congressmen or the president on the ballot, and so you typically see very, very low turnout numbers. And so I don't think they're going to approach anything near a midterm or a presidential election year. But I think we're going to see some healthy turnout for a municipal election year because of all of the competition out there.
You mentioned past conduct, talking about candidates with either criminal charges or convictions in their past. Didn't really harm Joe Ganim down in Bridgeport. What do you make of Eddie Perez given that?
It didn't help. It didn't hurt Joe Ganim down there. Yeah. Washington D.C. mayor. If you go back a few years, after he got convicted for cocaine possession and everything, got reelected a few years back, and so. I'm not sure Eddie Perez has the same things going for him. Again, it's not only what you are, it's also who you're running against. Right. And so he's in a field with Brandon McGee, also Luke Bronin. People remember the Eddie Perez years, and they tended to be not the greatest, right? And it wasn't necessarily because of him, but that can actually kind of hamper his reelection efforts. So you're running in a crowded race against another person that might be taking some of your votes. It makes it more difficult. Now, in New Haven, that's a different story because you have two candidates there, the current mayor and a challenger, and I think that's going to help the challenger, Justin Elliker, have a chance to unseat Tony Harp. If there's going to be an upset, I think it's going to be there.
Yeah, especially since it was so close last time around.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it should be within a few points.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Haynes, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Absolutely.
It's always great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you back. Thanks so much.